Hello, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. Thank you for everybody that joins the live session and that's watching the replay. So let me actually clean my screen up here. One moment. Got to clean my camera actually. Okay, great. So guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Today, what I'm going to be discussing is how to build a lead generation machine for fall and winter of 2024. Okay, so before I do that, guys, you know the drill. Give me about 2 minutes to go ahead and post this in my Facebook group, usually tag everybody. And what I'm going to be doing is making sure that my audio sounds good on Facebook, on YouTube, and on my Facebook group. So guys, if you're joining, let me know how my audio sounds. I am in an Airbnb in Miami on the beach enduring the the tropical storm. So hopefully the electricity or Wi-Fi doesn't get knocked out here. So if my audio sounds good, let me know, and then we're going to go ahead and roll into it. So hope you guys are having a great freaking day so far and a great week. I know I am. I wish I would have been able to go to the beach though. Today, I was able to get it in earlier this week, but okay, cool. So Amon Lopez 100 watching us on YouTube. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining live. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, guys, the reason why I do this live, this isn't a premiere, this isn't a recording or anything. It's the organic nature of things to answer you all's questions. So nothing is off the table. Data sources, getting deals closed, best markets to go to. You guys have immediate access to me for any questions at all. I love them. I honestly feed off of them. I don't like just talking to myself. This is why I do more live videos than actually post videos on my YouTube channel. I just love the interaction here. So guys, let me go ahead and post this and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to play some music, some lounge music here. Get that music actually sucks. All right, great. We're back, guys. So let's go ahead and hop into it. I think I might need to get some new music here. This is not too good. We'll go ahead and share my screen with you guys and go ahead and show you guys what I have prepared. So the thesis, if you will, today of what we're going to be covering is this, guys. Okay. And I get this question every year. I've been doing this for 9 years, going on 10 years. And a lot of people ask me, should I slow down my marketing in fall and winter? Isn't real estate slower these months? Should I reduce my marketing budget? All these questions are valid. And I do think the answer is a little black and white, but a little bit more nuanced based off your situation. Again, guys, I am in a unique position where I have deals coming through me, through my students, through my clients, really through people in the Facebook group and on Facebook, usually the dispo properties. I have a pretty large buyers list, and my lead generation budget is pretty robust as well. We do text message marketing primarily over here, and we're crushing it with text message marketing, okay? So I don't plan on stopping at all, but I would say there are some things to consider, okay? There are going to be some things to consider, guys. And again, guys, if you're just joining, drop your questions here. I do these live specifically so I can answer your questions, okay? So I don't want to just be talking to myself. I have something prepared, but if we go off in left field, I don't care what it's about. Ask me, guys. I'm an open book. 9 years of experience. You're going to get the real deal over here, and I'm not going to have any ambiguity in my answers, okay? I love educating. I love teaching. I'll feed off of your questions, your energy, and the interaction I get from you guys. So, guys, should you slow down your marketing in fall and winter? This is what I'm going to say. I would say if you are a smaller operation, and you are considering, you're already having trouble with keeping up on your lead generation, you're having trouble converting leads, you're not really generating any solid leads in your market, I would say not to stop marketing at all, but maybe you want to trim down what you're doing. What do I mean by that, guys? You might want to focus a little bit of your marketing efforts. If you're doing cold calling, texting, bandit signs, door knocking, PPC, pay per lead, you really need to look at your KPIs, guys, and track them. You should be tracking them and analyze them at that point and actually determine, you know what, I might need to get rid of doing bandit signs and PPC or pay per lead, right? If cold calling, specifically, if cold calling or anything else has a longer conversion rate, meaning if it takes you more than 90 days from the lead that comes in on average to closing, you might want to remove that as a marketing strategy as well. And I'll tell you this, guys, what you're really going to see in these winter months, winter and fall months, are this, not these objections here. You're really going to see the impact of, let me see, not there. You're really going to see the impact of the closing timeline. Okay, your contract, your lead to contract timeline is going to increase. So if it's already high right now for a marketing channel that you're doing, guys, it's only going to become longer. Meaning if I generate a lead today, September 26, 2024, and it's going to take me till December 26, 2024, usually 3 months, 3 months at any part in the summer, well, guys, that's only going to increase in the winter time. So that's something to consider. We have a lot of common objections as well, guys. We have got to realize whenever we speak to sellers in the winter months, guys, you shouldn't just take sellers for their word. You shouldn't just say, well, they said they just want to wait till the new year, or they don't want to be kicked out of their house during the holiday. Guys, we are investors. If it was easy, everybody would do it. We just don't take no for an answer. I give my sellers 3 outs, 3 off ramps, 3 times to say no in a conversation. And usually in that first conversation, I get a feel for how motivated they are. But I just don't take one objection and just, and really try to overcome that if they tell me no again. If I don't dig any deeper in their motivation, guys, I didn't do my job as an investor. Because, guys, a lot of people are getting called all times of the year. It increases actually during the holidays, I would think, because some investors, they're trying to pay those bills, or they're trying to get I know in the fall time, education is really big. So some of these companies like Fortune Builders or Rich Dad Poor Dad seminars may be actually going to some of these cities and giving their spiel. And a new crop of investor joins in the fall, winter time. I know for me personally, that's when I started my real estate journey. It wasn't in the summer. It was actually in January 2015. Okay, so we're talking about the end of the year, but we're also talking about in January as well, January and February too. So specifically now, since we're in the fall season, this is what I want to focus on. But this is true for the winter as well, guys. If a seller says they want to wait till the new year, they're going to forget about you, or guys, they're going to sell to somebody else, or they're going to sign a contract with somebody else. and then close in the new year. That's something you could do as well. Just because a seller wants to sell in the new year, guys, you can still contract that sucker now. Well, hey, you know what, Mr. Seller, let's go ahead and get this property under contract, and then we could close on the date of your choosing in January or February. But if we contract it, let's just say it's December, around Christmas time, hey, you're going to allow me to do what I need to do my due diligence, send 6 or 7 contractors over there to get repair estimates versus only 2 or 3 before closing. And I'm going to be able to do what I need to do with the city, getting repair estimates, seeing which contractors are available. I'm going to be able to take my time a little bit more and go on this property a few more times now, since you want to close in the winter time, in the new year. But I guarantee you, if you've done everything you need to do, you have the title complete, the title company's reaching out to them, and it's late December, they're not going to object to getting that money before January. What's the difference? In my mind, it's just another week. In their mind, they think it's a turning of the page of the calendar. I mean, to me, it's just another week. So 2 weeks from Christmas or 2 weeks before Christmas, it really doesn't matter. It's the same thing as 2 weeks from September 26th right now for me. As an investor, I don't really like the holidays. I'm not a fan of the holidays, guys, because business stops. And when business stops and stalls out, guys, I'm not my best self. I'm my best self whenever I'm doing business all day, every day. I take breaks here and there on the weekends. Sometimes I do, but even on the weekends, I make sure I'm doing something for my business, talking to clients, creating content for you guys, answering questions in the Facebook group or in my DMs. I'm getting a lot of DMs. Doing that, making sure that I'm staying in the business of business. The whole goal of me doing this business, guys, and one thing that you'll hear from me a lot, isn't to sit on my butt and not do anything. It's doing exactly what I love doing. I love traveling. Again, guys, I'm in beautiful Miami right now. It's a little bit cloudy with the with the hurricane coming through. I'm on the beach. I had a great call with my team this morning at 9 o'clock. Had a great call with my employees. Really, it was just an admin day. I had a training call today with my acquisitions team. And then around 2 o'clock, 2 to 4, I was in bed watching The Walking Dead, took a nap, woke up, and then prepared for this live. Guys, that's what I love doing. That's my zone of genius. But I have a team to help me out with operations. Guys, that's what I really want you guys to focus on. Really think about what energizes you in the business. I'm going to be honest, guys. If you're thinking about reducing how much you're doing in your business, or how much you're marketing in the business during the slower months, you have to ask yourself, do I really enjoy this? Why am I doing this business? Even if it's not your passion, I think this industry has so much to offer that there's going to be something that you're going to be passionate about in it, okay? And you need to figure that out and outsource the rest. Okay, guys, I'm getting on my soapbox here, but I love this industry, but I don't love everything about it. I worked for Wendy's whenever I was a young kid. 20 years ago, it's 2024. Yeah, 2004 is when I started working for Wendy's. Okay, dating myself a little bit here. And I love the story of Dave Thomas, and I've always been drawn to Wendy's. And I just use him as an example, but you could take any franchisee or franchisor rather as an example. I'm pretty sure there was a day that came when he threw up his hands and he was like, I don't want to be in the burger business anymore. And that's probably when the light bulb clicked on and said he needed to hire better help. And just because he didn't want to drop the fries in the fryer, clean the grease, smash the meat for the chili, guys. Seriously, if you guys ever worked at Wendy's and you know what it takes to make the chili, you literally have to take the burnt meat, and I'm giving away trade secrets now, and then smash the meat with a little grinder, like the burnt burger meat, and then it'll be tough, and you would have to fill a pail up, and then let it sit there overnight, and then make the chili and pour it together. Anyway, I'm digressing here. All that to say is that I'm pretty sure he liked building the system. He liked seeing the end result of his customers, of his patrons eating the food. But I'm pretty sure he didn't like sitting there, doing all the tedious, I would say, lower level tasks. That's why he hired young kids like me, right? So it's the same thing in the real estate industry. We should all be working to scale our businesses up, guys. We should all be working to get our businesses to the point where they're actually thriving. And you're thriving and you're not surviving. Where I am now is a much different position as to where I was 4, 5, 6 years ago. I was trying to figure out the system. I stressed out over my business because it seemed like I was missing parts of this business. And I still feel like there's a lack of information out here where people actually can come to a single source and don't have to pay for it and say, you know what, this is actually what I need to build my business. I hope my channel, if you guys are watching on YouTube or on Facebook, guys, and Build to Scale community or on my Facebook profile, shout out to you guys. I hope you guys are able to actually get the real information from me. One of my clients that just started working with me, he said, hey man, CC, I've been following you for 4 or 5 years, followed you on Bigger Pockets, follow you to YouTube, follow you to Facebook, follow you on A&E. I've seen you doing some great things. You have never switched up your message. Guys, I haven't. And again, there may be an expiration date for how much you follow me, but I'm never going to change my message. Up until some new revolutionary information comes out, I would teach you guys the fundamentals of business building. Okay, there's different topics we can discuss, but for the main part, for most of what I discuss, it's going to be the same things. It's going to be focusing on your marketing, okay, focusing on your lead generation source, and then focusing on, your data rather, which goes into your lead generation source, and then hiring great people, guys. I keep my tool stack very lean, and I'm just going to show you guys here what my tool stack looks like. This is basically it. Guys, it's batch dialer for rapid dialing, 3-line dialer. It's REI reply for texting, investor fuse, 3.0. Shout out to Carlos Zamora, my guy, over at Investor Fuse, okay? And that's for our follow-up system. It's not a CRM follow-up system. And then Nomo Robo to check our phone numbers, our outbound numbers from batch dialer and REI reply. And guys, Google Sheets. That's really how we track our KPIs. And really with a CRM, a lot of people want to integrate all this stuff in their CRM, and it's like unnecessary. Guys, the fundamentals of the business are marketing. Right now, REI reply is basically how we're generating most of our leads, guys. Our KPIs are crazy with texting. Yes, guys, we cold call, but the 80-20 of it, if you really want to get ahead right now, you got to text. And again, I don't know the owner personally, but we follow each other on Instagram. I have a lot of respect for him with Smarter Contact. However, guys, I would say that's probably not the best tool to use. Again, I can vouch for all these tools, and I can vouch for the KPIs that you'll get as well. Now, to get your company, to get your lead generation to where we're at, guys, we were struggling earlier this year to get our REI reply count really where it wouldn't get a 24-hour ban. We never had an issue with our account basically not being A2P compliant or being like completely banned, but having a 24-hour suspension on it because we didn't follow some best practices. Guys, we've had to follow the best practices from scratch. We had to create them. And all of our best practices we use now have been from scratch. And that's something I'm helping people out with. But I would just tell you this, guys, when it comes down to it, with REI reply, it's not like the pre-A2P days. Anybody that was using Roar, Text Magic, Easy Texting, Launch Control, Batch Leads, any of those tools, guys, where you were able to, in the morning, just upload a list of 5,000 records and just click play and then go off, play basketball, do some push-ups, do some pull-ups, and just respond back to the sellers that said, yes, I want to sell my house. Those days are over. We need somebody really sitting in that pocket all day because they have to manually send off each campaign every hour, and we could do no more than 60 messages in an hour. But again, since a lot of people are out, have not been doing text messaging, and you got to think, guys, you have to have an American, LLC to be able to apply for A2P registration. So let's just say that eliminates 50% of the people overseas, right? Any agency from the Philippines, from Egypt, any agency from Pakistan, people on Fiverr. I know I was getting blown up by all these types of individuals during the pandemic. Now they're ghosts. Guess what? Because they can't get these accounts anymore. So that eliminated 50 to 60% of the people that were crowding the marketplace. Yes, I'm going to say crowded. And then, guys, the investors that want to do REI reply, want to use REI reply or do some sort of texting, they have to get their accounts A2P compliant. That eliminates another 30 to 40% of investors because many of that I talk to, they can't get their account pushed through. And we had to develop best practices with getting our accounts pushed through. And it takes us about 24 to 48 hours, and it's automatic approval. We've never gotten our accounts kicked back. once we figured out our best practices for getting them approved. Okay. Next, if you do get your account, if you have an American LLC, you do get your account A2P approved, then you have to figure out the best practices. 10 DIDs in your market is what we use. So I'm in, right now I'm in 305, I'm in Miami. So I'm not marketing there, but you're just using this as an example. So we'll buy 10 DIDs, right? We check these every morning through Nomo Robo. So we're not texting them from any spam numbers, okay? Then you have to make sure you're using fresh data as well, guys. So you can't just use DataZap data or any of that cheap data, because that will cause your account to get blocked too. So you may be able to send off 100 messages, but you can only do that, and then your account will get a 24-hour block, and then you're done for 24 hours. You can't generate, you're not going to be able to generate enough leads doing that. That's why people say texting's not worth it. It doesn't work. Guys, it does, but it's not what it was like before. Okay? And me and my partners are able to go in a lot of these markets untouched, unscathed. I would say texting is up there. It's right below PPC, but I would say it's above pay per lead, right? So iSpeed to lead and any of the other lead sources that you pay per lead where they share leads, I would say it's above that lead source. I would say it's right below a personal PPC campaign. But even that depends, because for us, we're actually able to pull lists and target where we need to go, where we want to go. With PPC, you have to be a little bit more broad. So if we're looking at actually generating leads that we actually want to generate and not just taking anything that comes on our plate, which honestly, it makes dispositions really a lot harder if you're just generating leads anywhere across the United States or even across your whole market. Guys, at that point, I would say texting is up top. And you guys know, a lot of you guys found me off of my one YouTube video several years back. I posted maybe late 2018, early 2019. It's my highest viewed video on my YouTube channel right now. And it was me texting. And I would say that my texting numbers are probably at the same level they were then when I first figured out bulk batch texting as they are now. But to be honest, yeah, I would say my conversion rates are about the same. So what it's taking us right now to generate a contract, about 20 to 30 leads and to get a contract. And every time we send off a text blast of 500, which is what we're able to do in a day, 500 leads, prospects message a day, 500 text messages sent, we're able to get a 1% conversion rate. And that's amazing, because usually what it was in the 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, before A2P, it was like a 0.2 to 0.4% conversion rate. Meaning if we send off, let me make sure my math is right here. We had to send off 1,000 texts in one day just to get 2 to 4 leads. And that was best case scenario. Now we send off 500 and we get 5 high quality leads. And I'll say this too. Some people may say, well, Cece, don't you think that you could just cold call these people? You have their phone numbers. Great question, guys. I'll tell you this. The demographic, and we've done the KPI analysis, the demographic that responds back to your text message marketing is going to be completely different from the demographic that responds back to your cold calling. I'll say this again, and in simpler terms here, guys. The leads that are generated in cold calling are completely different from the leads that are generated in texting. I have not seen one lead that's been overlapped. And I've been doing about 500 texts a day every day this year. And I don't know, what month are we on? So 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60. We're on month 9, 80. So I'm going to do 24, 60, 81, 24, 60, 80. So I'm trying to figure out the math here. So 20 days out of the month, we're on month 9. Okay, so 180 times 500. And guys, this is just in one market here. Just guys, I'm conservative. I'm conservative with my numbers because I don't want to sound so extra with everything. Oh, we're doing 1 million texts a day. Guys, no. I'm conservative here. So just with one campaign, my campaign that I'm doing, and this isn't including all the client campaigns I'm running right now. Guys, we're looking at 90,000 texts for the year. And if we're at a 1% conversion rate, we probably, generate around 900 leads. And contracts that we generated on that, guys, I would say close to 20 to 30 contracts. And then another maybe, pretty much all those have closed because I started using power of attorney earlier this year to lock up my deals. So our deal closure rate is pretty high now. We do novations, we do straight wholesaling, but even if it's not a novations, I still approach it like it, guys. So I go and I get a power of attorney. I have a deal closing on Monday in Cleveland like this, where we have a power of attorney, and I've done dispo on it. I've been able to communicate with the closing office. They've been great to work with. I had a realtor that has been great to work with. She said I was like one of the best investors to work with. Guys, I'm making us look good out here because the realtors, some of them don't like working with investors, and she's used to working with them too because she's a foreclosure realtor. But guys, the point I'm making here is that majority of what I'm closing now are texting leads. And I'll tell you this, we're using cold calling to stack the pipeline. Okay. So what I would suggest, guys, is yes, still do cold calling. You can have one texting manager and you can have one cold caller. Again, the days of being able to have multiple texting campaigns ongoing, that's not really realistic now. So, but you don't need that. I don't need to send off 5,000 texts a day to get 5 leads. Honestly, I was pulling so much data, like 30,000, 40,000 records a month. And I was spending on the premium data, not the cheap stuff, guys. IDI data is what I was using, guys. I'll drop that nugget for you. But the really expensive data, guys, and I have not deviated from that IDI data set either, because I've been using that since 2019. I can guarantee what my conversion rates will be. So anybody that says, hey, have you heard of con skip tracing? Have you heard of the REI skip to left, skip to right? Guys, no. This is a business. 5 guys have been using the same fry manufacturers or the same darn fry like companies to get their potatoes since freaking like they opened in the early 2000s, or at least when I heard of them in the mid 2000s. So they're not going to say, well, we're going to use this potato farmer over here because they could get us, twice as many potatoes for a lesser amount. Guys, no. A lot of you guys want to skimp on quality. You want to skimp on quality and you want to debate the results. And then you want to argue with me when they don't work. And then you want me to come to fix it when you don't have a budget. So you need to scan that QR code in the top left and you need to work with my team. A lot of you guys are Mr. Fix It. I don't mind it, but the unlearning is a little frustrating. Having to unlearn and also explain myself even after my clients sign up with me. Or even now. Well, Cece, why do I need to use you for A2P registration? I can go ahead and submit that myself. Okay, and you keep on getting a kickback when we get pushed through in 24 hours. Guys, I love this business, and this business, the fundamentals have not changed for me. I've not changed my data source, the main list pulling tool I'm using since 2018. I've not changed my CRM or follow-up system since 2017. I've been using InvestorFuse since they were on Podio. I've been using Nomorobo since about 2019, Google Sheets, all the way back. That's really not really proprietary. The most recent change I've made has been to my dialer. A lot of people ask, why do I use batch dialer? Guys, I love batch dialer because of this. I love batch dialer because it is very efficient with my list pulling. Excuse me, with my list pulling. With keeping my list, not eating my list up. Excuse me, guys. It's very efficient with not eating my list up. Meaning, when I was on Zen-Call or Ready Mode, and again, it may be different now. Again, guys, I was uploading 10,000 records, and some weeks I would go through that. One cold caller would go through that in a week. That's really the measure of a dialer. Can it make your list last long for a month, 2 months, 10,000 records, 5,000 records? If there's a system out there that's a triple line dialer where I can generate, my person could call for, my cold caller could call 500 people a day, 300 to 500, and they could generate 1 to 2 leads a day, and they only go through 3,000 to 5,000 records in a month. Guys, that means I'm saving on data. I don't have to pull 10,000 records. And really, that's what I'm trying to do here. I try to maximize all the tools that I have. I try to this isn't set in stone. Maybe next year I'll find a tool that's I'm able to dial 200 people a day, and then that becomes my standard. Right now it's about 700 to 800 a day. Before it was 1,000 to 1,200. When I first started, when I was using 5.9 and ZenCall, it was like 1,500 to 2,000 dials a day we had to get in just to generate one lead, and that may not have generated even one lead. And so it's easy to blame the cold caller. It's easy to blame the data source, which that can factor into it. But a big part of it is dialing. And I've tested a lot of them. I'm proficient at batch. I'm proficient at really ZenCall. That's the main one. I know my way around Mojo and call tools. I've seen what they offer. And I just think batch the interface is so solid, so slick. And guys, I don't get money from saying this. Only one full disclosure I get money from is investor fees, but I'm not even showing you guys my affiliate link. So just so you guys know, I'm not like pitching for them because I'm getting paid. It literally is just, I use what works, which is why I don't accept a lot of affiliates, guys, because tools may work today and then tomorrow they may not work. All right, let me see what questions I have here. Okay, great. So great question. Smooth, my guy, you're a repeat visitor guy, my guy. So thanks for joining again. What data are you marketing to? So my friend, are you asking the list pulling tool? Are you asking about the skip tracing? Are you actually asking about the list that I generate? Let me know and I could be a little bit more specific here. While you respond back, I'll go ahead and go to some more of my presentation. Then I want to actually get into screen sharing. And yes, I am going to go over some lists that are performing well as well, guys. Guys, keep the questions coming. Again, this is live. This is not a pre-recorded. Guys, you have access to me live. And so please take advantage of it. Use me right now. I want to be used. Okay. So before we get into actually the screen share where I'm showing you guys the list that I pull and all the juicy stuff, let me see if I have any more notes here. And while Smooth is waiting to get back to us, okay, he said the list type. Cool. I'm about to go right into that. About to get another incense burning there, guys. Just getting started. If you guys are cool with it, we'll go on for about another hour. If we go till 9, I'm cool with that. As long as you guys are joining, as long as people are here. We're at about 8 to 9 people coming in and out live. Looks like Thursday's our day. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. And then Smooth, I'll get to your question. So again, let's start with the thesis here again. Before, why we're even on this live. Should I slow down my marketing in the fall and winter? Isn't real estate slower in these months? Should I reduce my budget? No, guys. But if you need to reduce your budget, I would focus on your marketing strategies. Guys, start tracking them now. Focus on the marketing strategies that are performing and trim out the noise. So don't do everything, right? If you want to trim down your marketing budget in the winter, but also don't shut everything down. Don't just say, well, I can't keep this 10 grand a month up. I'm just going to shut everything down. That's the wrong answer too, guys. Life is more nuanced than that. Okay. Let me also look at my other questions I have here. So today I said I'm going to deep dive into the best list to pull, the marketing strategies that perform well year round. So we talked about text messaging and then overcoming seasonal objections from sellers. So before I go into list pulling, I do want to just touch on that here. So here are some that I get every year, guys. I should put these on a freaking t-shirt. It's like, I'll just wait till the new year to sell my house. Okay. And what I might tell the seller is this: the deeper we'll go into winter, the less you'll be able to get for your house, right? So if it's January, honestly, I might tell the seller I may not have the funds freed up during January because most homeowners are going to be calling me in January. So Mr. Seller, I can probably offer you more now for your house, but if you call me back in January, I may not be able to buy it. Or honestly, you may be snowed in. I may not want to flip any inventory during that month. I may be, good with the inventory that I have. Who knows if my construction crew is going to be available? Again, guys, even if we're wholesaling, you have to talk like you're the buyer. So you notice whenever I'm saying these things, I'm talking as if I'm flipping the home. This is something that my mentor taught me, guys. And it also puts you in the zone, especially for you new investors that are actually, a little bit hesitant about saying I'm a real estate investor. It took me about a year and a half to feel comfortable saying I'm a real estate investor. And that was after I closed probably like 20 deals. So if you guys are having trouble with actually owning that, start putting yourself in those shoes, or else you're just going to talk to the seller almost as if you are like a wholesaler. So guys, you may win the lottery. I don't suggest you play the lottery. You may get some inheritance from somebody. You may get some unclaimed cash somewhere. You may get a bonus at your job. You may get a tax bonus, or your tax bonus might be a lot more than you were expecting, right, in February from your 9-to-5 job. Who knows? Your contract gives you the ability to close on it. What if you could just close on it, and then you're talking to somebody down at the pub or at church or wherever, or on the street, and they said, hey man, you know what? I'll list that home for you. Oh, you don't need to wholesale that. Hey, I list homes for people all the time. You don't even need to have it in your purchase contract that I can list it. Who knows what would happen? And you may have the funds to be able to close on it with transactional lending. Somebody may say, he may say, well, or she may say, I have a transactional lender. You may be able to come in with that Christmas bonus or that tax bonus, close on property, and then list it as a wholesale and make $100,000. Who knows? Again, your contract gives you the ability when you sign to close on that property. So it says in our signs. It just doesn't say, Garland House Buyers LLC, agrees to assign 123 Main Street in Cleveland, Ohio. It says agrees to purchase in /or assigns. That should give you guys power. One thing I had to do, guys, whenever I first started, and forgive me if I'm going on a tangent here, but I think these anecdotal references are really important to mention. One thing I had to do, guys, is I was not confident in calling homeowners really at all when I first started. And I felt like I was an imposter. And so one thing I had to do was separate CC Garland from Cornelius Garland. And whenever I spoke to sellers, I referred to myself as Cornelius. It was like this weird cognitive dissonance that I had. And I was able to talk to sellers like I was this professional business person, Cornelius. CC Garland would never hit up somebody or even a homeowner morning, noon, and night, or try to call them at 9 p.m., on a Thursday, or even call them on Sunday after church and get cursed out. I was a people pleaser back then. But guess what? Cornelius Garland would, well, hey, I'm Cornelius Garland with Holy City Homes. Looking to buy your property at 123 Main Street. Oh, this Sunday. Why are you calling me? It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to sue you. Da-da-da. Well, hey, I'm Cornelius Garland. I'm really looking to buy this property. Do you want to sell? Guys, it allowed me up until I had the confidence to be able to, step into myself, as CC Garland and present myself like I'm just myself, to be able to do that. So these are little tricks, guys, mind tricks, psychological tricks, guys, that I've had to learn to be able to be efficient and proficient in this industry. So guys, let's go ahead and get into the fun part of this, which is list pulling. Now I wanted to go over this over my last live, but we had a lot of great questions. And so time sort of got away from us. So my guy Smooth is asking about the list type. Okay, guys, here's the thing. If you guys have been following me for a while, I don't really like doing niche lists. You can interchange niche with finite list. Okay, what do I mean by that? So these are going to be your pre-foreclosures. These are going to be your code violations, your tax delinquents. Guys, it's really difficult to track what you pulled. And when you pull this data, you may get 20,000 or 30,000, record dump just from the county. They may just dump 30, 40,000 records in your inbox. Well, some of those might be some of those might be mobile homes. They might be land. They might be in rural areas. They might be stuff that you don't even really want to target. Okay. Or they might just be non-series code violations, like somebody just had their fence painted off-white when it should have been another color of white. And they could be in an HOA community. You could be targeting affluent communities. You could be targeting condominiums. And even if you narrow that down and you're left with 10 to 15,000 records, that's all you have to target. And you can't go back another 12 months because the code violations company probably gave you all the data from the last 6 to 12 months. So if it takes you a month or two to target that data, you're not going to get the same volume of unique data from the last 12 months. That's basically it. They may give you another 20,000 records, but majority of those will be duplicate. So this is why people need REI Sift and a lot of these other tools, guys. Here's the thing. a lot of you guys have a lot of tools because you don't go in with a strategy. You're not strategic about the process you're taking, the process you're using. So what happens, guys, is that you are hiring people to manage systems and processes because you don't have processes. And so you're like stacking SHIT on top of SHIT. Excuse my language, okay? Didn't sound it out. If you guys have kids watching, and I keep my language conservative here, guys, but it's like you're stacking crapola on top of crapola. And we don't want to do this, guys. That's where I'm really lean. I have a process that I follow whenever I do my list pulling. Again, I start off with my zip code analysis sheet. And again, Smooth and everybody here, bear with me if you guys heard this before, but I don't think this is bad to reiterate. And if anybody hasn't watched this, have not seen me go over my zip code analysis sheet, I think you're in for a treat here. So I'm just going to pull up my zip code analysis sheet here, and then we're going to get into it. Okay, zip code analysis. Guys, we're rolling now. We're rolling. Okay, sweet. So, okay, this is my zip code analysis. I need to find my one with multiple MSAs. So give me a second. Okay, cool. I think this is it. Perfect. So here's my zip code analysis sheet, guys. If you want this, you guys can get this for free on my website, buildtoscalerealestate.com. And it gives you a seller objection sheet with 11 of our most common objections, our cold calling script you could give to your cold calling team, or you can use yourself, and this zip code analysis sheet. I think this is why most people love this that little bundle, and that's going to be on buildtoscalerealestate.com. Again, buildtoscalerealestate.com. I'll type this in. Again, guys, free of charge. You just got to put your email, and they'll get sent to you immediately. Okay, cool. So again, guys, so looking at this this zip code analysis sheet, again, this has over 25,000 zips in the United States, broken down by median sale price, days on market, and home sold. I need to update this for 2024, but really the order of the zips won't change. It's just the data. So I don't have to update this every month. Really, I found the most insights whenever I updated it from 2021 to 2023. I saw a huge jump in data. So I might, update this whole sheet again. I'll do it this year, but really I don't even think I need to do it every 6 or 12 months. But anyway, so let's see Kansas City. So to answer your question, Smooth, great question. Again, the question was, what data source are you using? Data are you marketing to? And list type. It is not so black and white. You guys are not going to get this anywhere else on YouTube. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. It's twofold for me. I go through and I narrow down my zip codes based off of how many homes have sold. So I start off with only 50 homes sold or more. And then I'm putting a ceiling of probably like 400 or 450,000 on here. I don't want to see any $1 million zip codes. I might target them, but those aren't going to be the people I target initially. Okay. So here in Kansas City, it doesn't look like we have any really high, median zip codes here. We don't have any $1 million zip codes. So the first thing I'm going to do to maintain organization is I'm going to look and I'm just going to pull these zip codes by county. So looks like after I sort all the zips in median sale price in ascending order. So starting with the lower end zip codes and then going up. Because honestly, guys, these zip codes are going to have our more blue collar sellers. These are going to be our sellers that want to sell. These are going to be our more motivated sellers. You're also going to find that you're going to have more inventory, absentee inventory, and workable inventory in these zip codes here. So when you organize this sheet by median sale price, ascending order, so starting with the lowest starting with the zip codes with the lowest prices and then going up, you're going to find that it may take you 5 or 6 or 7 zip codes to get 5,000 records. But as you go up in the order here, it may take you 12 to get, 5,000 absentee records or 10,000. Then it may take you, 15. And then it may take you, this amount. 12 or, another 15 to get to maybe you may only get 2,000 records. But guys, I just don't target absentee. Here are some of the zips the list that I like to target. I like targeting owner occupied, tax delinquents. I like targeting owner occupied, distressed, meaning purchase price of 100,000 or maybe even 50,000. And I like targeting absentee owners with $100,000 purchase price. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like here. So again, this ensures I have volume. So I can stay in this market for Kansas City potentially for 6 months without ever re-pulling the same data. And that's the thing, guys. A lot of you guys pull the same data. So you're wondering why your lists are suffering. Guys, it's because of this. You are pulling the same data every month and you're not even realizing it. So you may say, oh man, I pulled 10,000 code violations and I pulled another 5,000, absentee, high equity, and then I pulled another, a tire landlord list. Well, the tire landlord and absentee lists are basically the same. So if you're pulling countywide or in the same zip codes, guys, you're basically overlapping data. And then you upload it into batch dialer, your dialer of choice, and you're going to wonder why. Oh man, I paid, I had 10,000 records and then I only upload 2,000. Guys, the thing I realized is unique data is what's important. Think of I love this analogy. Think of your marketing, your list that you're pulling like a car. I cannot get from Miami, where I am right now, back to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I'm going back to on Sunday, with the same gas that I use to drive down here. I took a flight, but if I drove down here, I can't use the same gas. Guess what? I'm going to have to go to the gas pump and fill up. I can't say, well, go to the same gas station, every gas station I went to down here and say, man, I spent $100 to fill up my truck. Guys, can you give me a discount? Or, can I use some of that same fuel or recycle it? No, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. It's the same thing with your marketing, guys. It doesn't matter how targeted your list is. It's all about volume. And I know it takes 5,000 records will take you to about 2 weeks of dialing with a cold caller, maybe 3 weeks if they recycle it. But once that list is spent, guys, it's done. It's done. You need more data. You constantly need to be paying for more data. And guys, I eat the data costs. You need to just factor those in. Some of you guys want to just do dispo only or, try to JV on other people's deals. You got to pay the piper, guys. I'm not saying you have to spend, $5,000 a month initially. That's a healthy budget, to make about 30 to 40 grand a month. And that's not initially. You got to have the ball rolling, okay? But after about 3 to 4 months, that's realistic if you're starting from scratch. But you're not going to sit here and pay $0 unless you're hustling. You're door knocking. You're out here putting out bandit signs, but that's not sustainable, guys. You could probably get 2 deals a month, but you're going to forget about your marketing when you're trying to get those 2 to 3 deals to close. And then guess what? You're going to get those deals to close. You might have $100K in your bank, but you're not even going to know where to start again to start your company up. Start your marketing back up. Or you may be burnt out from door knocking. Or you door knocked everything because you're working the same 600 houses for the last 3 years. What do you do at that point? Again, guys, I think there's a place for niche data, but it's at the top of the marketing pyramid. It's not what you should build your foundation on. It's not. If you actually want to build a company, I'm talking to business owners here, guys. I'm not talking about hustlers. I'm talking to actually business owners. There's a reason why I call my company Build to Scale. Because I build companies to scale. Guys, we just don't build these companies up I'm not a fly-by-night person where I'm not thinking about the future. I like setting up myself, my clients, anybody that works with me, guys, up for success. Anybody that's on this feed, if we're not even working together, I hope we're able to work together at some point, whether now or 3 years in the future. Guys, if you're listening to this, I'm teaching you actually what's needed to actually scale. This isn't popular stuff. This isn't sensational. And I get it. But I can't do anything other than speak the truth on this. I feel great about speaking the truth. I don't need 1,000 people on my lives. I just need a handful of people that understand the message and actually want to get results. You could drastically change your life by listening to this information here, okay? So guys, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about let's go ahead and go into some of the lists that I will pull here. And guys, let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, let me know. All right, so I am, so let's go into area search. I'm just going to play around with some of the queries and just show you guys how I build some of these lists. I actually have a list that that I need to build for a client in Fayetteville. So actually, shout out to you, Eddie. This might be a good opportunity to do that. So if that's cool with you guys, I'm actually going to kill two birds with one stone. Let me see if I analyzed Fayetteville already. I don't think I have. Okay, so, okay, cool. So let's go back and forth here. I'm actually going to share. All right, cool. Thank you, Jermaine. Repeat listener. Thank you so much, my friend. Great information. All right, cool. So I am going to analyze Fayetteville. Now, Fayetteville is not like a huge market. I actually lived there for a year. That's where I got my start in real estate. But I marketed to my Charleston at the time. But I learned real estate from a great guy up there. Shout out to you, Antoine, in Fayetteville. So it's a small MSA, guys. So it's a very small MSA. I'm gonna no fill. Usually I like dealing with MSAs larger, but usually when this happens, I know I probably won't be able to get as many. I won't be able to get as many absentee records that I'd like. So I'd have to target owner occupants, which is totally cool. So my goal here is to pull 5,000 motivated sellers in Fayetteville. Okay, 5,000. Let's go ahead and see how we can do it. So this is 2021 data. I'm going to hide this. And what I usually do is I'll just do the average of all the zips, the average of the medians. So we're at 289. And then the days on market. Let me spread this out so you guys can see it. Okay, home sold, population, density, and the distress tier. Okay, so days on market would be equals average as well. So it looks like we're at 27. Guys, I only like being in markets where they're like 50 and below. 50 is really pushing it. I really like being in areas where days on market's around like 30 or 40 at the most, low 40s if that's the case. And then home sold, home sold we're looking at, I'm gonna do the average again. I think it was like 118. Okay, cool. So I only like being in markets where the homes sold are above probably like 50 on average, usually higher, probably 70 to 100 is really what I'm looking at. But I'm not going to filter these zips down anymore, because if I do, I'm not going to have any data to target. So what I do as well, and I don't think you guys can see me sorting this, but I'll walk you through this, is I'm going to filter this median sale price here by ascending values, meaning I want to see the lowest median sale prices, and then it's going to go up high, because I know in these areas right here, these are going to be more the motivated individuals, right? We're going to have motivated sellers here. Now, some of you guys may say, well, how do you avoid war zones? Well, again, if you're in an area where the median sale prices are around like 300K or 400K, well, war zone would be around 126K. But the median sale prices here are around 289. So if I do the average of this, if I take the average and divide it by 2, and we're looking at 144. So, you're looking at ARVs could potentially be around 130 to 140. So, that's not a war zone for this MSA. That's why you have to look at the market specifically for the metropolitan statistical area, just the data in the metropolitan statistical area. Like I don't have, Charlotte on here, and then I don't have Fayetteville on here. I just have Fayetteville. It's comparing apples to apples. Okay. Oh, so great. Okay. Wait, is that you, Eddie? Oh, that's all right. Yeah. So I'm doing this live for you, bro. I'll probably change it up afterwards. But yeah, shout out to Eddie. He bought a list from us. Great. Great client, great client. And also, we're doing this REI reply setup tomorrow, 2 p.m., I think. So excited for that, my friend. Actually, we already set up your REI reply, but we're doing a consulting call tomorrow at 2, the walkthrough. So I'm looking forward to that. Cool. Great. So let's go back to let's go back here. Okay, guys. So this is what I would do. I would look at, okay, so in my tool, the one I'm using, I have another tool that I'm not showing you guys offline. So I just don't use Investor Title Toolbox. I have another secret weapon. But for this, in Investor Title Toolbox, I can only do certain counties. Like I can only do one county at once. So I'm just going to do Cumberland here. And that's actually the main county anyway. And good, decent home sold volume. So I'm just going to take these zips and then I'm just going to go into, oh yeah, shout out to you, Eddie. That's funny. Yeah, so hey, this is only going to be part of it. So I have a secret weapon over here for you, okay? That I'm not showing online. Educational purposes only. All right, so I'm going to go to Toolbox, and I'm just going to go and copy these. Zip code. Actually, I'll build this from scratch so you guys can see how I build it from scratch. I think that'll be helpful. Some of you guys may ask, well, why don't I just do the whole county? Well, to be honest, I don't even really know what zips are included in the county, and there may be a discrepancy. So I found it's much more accurate as far as getting an accurate count if you just put the zips in. And on top of that too, I can keep track of the zips I pull because I may not need all these zips to target this county. So last one, it's not Cumberland. Okay, didn't come up. So looks like we're at, okay, so it looks like we're at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 minus 7. Okay, cool. So we're at 12. Perfect. So what I usually do, guys, is I highlight them again just to make sure I'm keeping track of which zips I pulled. Then we're going to go back to here, and I'm going to build this from scratch, guys. So the first one I'm going to do is the I'll do the absentee one. So if I'm going to rank them, it will be absentee, distress. So absentee with a purchase price of 100K or less. Usually I'll do 100K on that one. And then it'll be owner occupied. So I feel like I might need to get owner occupieds on here, but with owner occupieds, I might do a purchase price of 50K, right? Those people are going to be distressed with 10 years of ownership, okay? Because I'll have more people to choose from. So I'll be able to get a little bit more targeted and granular with my criteria. Then I'm not going to show you guys this. Then it might be an owner-occupied tax delinquent. There's another data source I use to stack my tax delinquents. So some of you guys may say, well, that's a niche list. Well, it's just more of a layer. It's almost like a filter I could turn on and off. And so I may start with owner-occupied tax delinquents, and then just once I pulled all those, if I don't get to 5,000, I may finish the list out with owner-occupied, just distressed. But it's almost like that adds an extra tier of motivation. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to only target individuals, meaning not LLCs, not trusts, not corporations, not businesses, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm going to target single family homes, townhouse or row house. I'm not going to do townhouse or row houses. I'm going to do duplexes. Let's see here, duplex. They changed the interface up on me. 1 second. Residential. Quads. We probably don't have any of those. Dupes and tris. Where are my triplexes? Okay, cool. Guys, all these are considered single family homes. And so this is how you get a competitive advantage. So even, guys, using text message marketing, that gives us a competitive advantage. Gives us like a 30% bump over our competitors, probably more than that. I would say 70%. It's really allowed serious investors to have a competitive advantage. There was a time where, like last year and a couple years ago, we didn't have any because everybody was able to get cheap VAs, cheap data, be able to text, cold call. It was crazy. Now, the one competitive advantage we have is texting. Even paper lead, people have access to some of these tools that, and software services that weren't around or ubiquitously known before, like iSpeed leads or Clever leads. Okay. So with that being said, not everybody knows to target single family, triplex, and quads. And with this data source here, I know I'm able to get more data. Point blank simple, but it's more pricey. This isn't prop stream, guys. And this stuff is from a title company. So this data is updated. Some of it's updated daily, but the latest it's updated is monthly. I don't target these people. I rarely have people from my cold calling and texting team say the home sold. Whenever I look back at my text messages, I rarely, unless I'm doing a follow-up message from an old list, follow-up campaign for an old list, I don't see people that say my home sold. Those are things that you have to look for, guys, that tell you whether or not your data is good or not. Not just, I could get 3-cent skip tracing. Okay. Keep on doing that. Keep on doing that, guys. Keep on doing that while your conversion rates tank. All right. So that's one of the main ones that will give you a competitive advantage. Targeting trides, quads, and duplexes. And these comp out the same way that you would comp out, for the most part, to the owners, they're assessed the same amount as single family homes. But to us, we can actually charge not double, but an increased price if it's a duplex, quad, or triplex. A lot of homeowners don't realize that a buyer will pay more for those. So we give them the single family price while we're charging the buyer more because it's a duplex, quad, or tri, and these are not commercial. They're still residential. Anything 5 units and up, that's commercial. 4 units, 1 to 4 units, that's single family. Okay, purchase date, guys. I like doing so let me see here. Purchase date. I want to do I'll do before. There's a little bug in the system here, so I have to do this. This is basically just saying like 1/1900. But this is really the important part. It's the stop date. So I like starting probably at 2002. It used to be 1999, but I'll go up to 2002. And so some of you guys may ask, well, here's the thing too. Some people may say, well, I have an absentee senior list, or how do I target seniors? Well, guys, let's use some common sense. This is how you target seniors. So if somebody bought their home in 1999, they were 30 years old. So it's 2024 minus 1999, right? 25 years, they were 25 years old, right? That person's 50 now. So, but most likely they might have been in their 40s. So 40 plus 25, we're looking at 65 years old. Okay. So if you want to target absentee seniors, that's how you target it. Again, if you go out, guys, and you pay for some of these niche lists, a lot of those people are going to be included in this list that I'm showing you as well. And then you think you're going to have like all of these unique lists, and you're just going to have a whole bunch of overlapping data. That's what I realized. That's really the name of the game, where some of these list vendors will sell you a pre-foreclosure list or absentee senior list or tire landlord list. Tire landlord and absentee senior, empty nester, that's basically the same list. So they basically are charging you 3 times for probably 70% of the same data. And you think you're getting unique data, and you're not. It's more better. Yeah, it's more better. Excuse me if that's not the correct pronunciation or grammar, but it's better rather to do it this way, is to go zip code by zip code. Because I know if I target absentee owners that bought their houses in 1999 or prior, okay, then I know, I'm going to do this 1, 2. So it's 1999. Okay. Then I know that if I want to change the criteria, all I have to do is, let's just say I'm targeting owner occupants right here. Excuse me, not that. Actually, yes. No, that's not correct. Owner occupant. Okay, yeah, owner occupied. Let's just say I'm targeting absentee rather. If I'm using the same criteria, the only thing I have to do is, if I want to make sure I'm targeting completely different individuals, I could target these same zip codes and then just say owner occupied, yes. Okay, you guys see that? So that's how I keep track of my list. And I always screenshot my data and then put a note on what I pulled so I know which zips I pulled with which criteria. Again, it might be a little bit tedious up front. I've just done this so many times. I pulled probably 4 million records in this tool and all the other tools I've used. I just have this format down. It's second nature to me. It's a lot easier doing this up front than to try to have 100 lists that you're trying to figure out where do I target, what do I not target. I don't want to pull the same data, and then you don't target anything or don't pull any data because you think you have all the data, and you just have a mess, and you end up buying all these tools like RISIF and all this stuff, and it's just not organized at all. Again, guys, we're building a company here. When you're first starting off, you're hustling, cool, but guys, we're building a business that lasts, okay? So we have a question here. Is Investor Title Toolbox similar to PropStream? Guys, no. I like the data set in Investor Title Toolbox a lot more than PropStream. You're going to get a lot more outdated data. I actually have PropStream just to pull MLS comps. I don't even have a PropStream account for freaking pulling data. Guys, I would say the PropStream data is not good. If you haven't seen my video on my YouTube channel called, I think it's called like PropStream data is dead, or do this before you pull data in PropStream. I might link it if you guys want to know exactly what it is. Just let me know. I can pull it up. But yeah, here's the difference, guys. Your data is all dependent on how many records that you're able to get. I know in my tool, I'm able to get probably 3 times as much data in any city. The filters I use are more granular. I'm able to do LTV filters over here. And really that's the correct terminology whenever you're pulling data. We don't have any equity filters over here. So that lets me know that this tool is more advanced. PropStream's honestly, guys, like play. It's like child's play, to be honest. But it took me a while to learn this tool, okay? Loan to value ratio is, that's the LTV, okay? That's actually equity, but it's the opposite. So if you want 70% equity, then you're going to have to do 30% or greater LTV. I think that's right. But I don't even use LTV filters on my list, okay? So next question, and let me just go in a little bit more on this. Guys, think about it. You're paying $99 for that. I pay probably $2,000 a quarter for this tool. And it's just because of the data how much data I'm pulling. Okay. So, and it's updated. And then this tool, it doesn't try to do comps. It doesn't try to do all this other crazy stuff. It just pulls data. I don't need a freaking CRM or skip tracing attached to it. I take this and I skip trace in another tool. And that's another thing, guys. I'll tell you guys this because it's the whole system. You guys might think, oh man, I'm just going to get this and I'm going to be able to replicate CC system. Okay, guys, great. But you might fumble. I'll show you the steps, guys. But after this is about 30% of the battle to 40%. Then I have another tool that I use that I'm not showing you guys that I add on other sort of filters as well. This is just the first part of my process. This is the second part of the process. The first part is the zip code analysis, right? With the zip codes. The second part is Investor Title Toolbox. The third part is my secret data source. Then the fourth part is skip tracing with my data source I use, right? That's the process. And it usually takes me about 4 to 5 hours to do everything. I still pull all my lists myself and for my clients. Yeah, my guy says trash. I mean, guys, there's like a tropical storm here, and so I'm like literally, I don't know why I did this. I booked my vacation on a condo in the beach without even checking the weather. So there's like wind and stuff blowing. So if you guys see me jump a little bit, just making sure the condo I'm in is not about to fall down. But yeah, guys, if you want to mention why PropStream's trash, guys, again, it's just the data source, and nothing can convince me from changing the process I use, because I know I can expect the same KPIs with the data source that I use right now. Okay. It's like clockwork. Okay. So I'm not going to go through anything cheaper or anything like that. So is Investor Title Toolbox the software you pull from using your list from? Yep. Again, it's one of them. And sometimes I may not even pull all my data here. Sometimes I may just do this just to see what I have. Okay. So great question. Great question. Let's get back to it, guys. Okay. So all right, again, I'm going to put this as owner occupied as no. And then I'm going to do, I want to share my whole screen with you guys so you guys can see what I'm doing here. There's a couple other filters. Okay, purchase price, guys. So we have the ownership date, and then I have the purchase price as well. And I may not get that many records, guys, with this amount of zip. So you're going to see based off of the records I get, I'm going to play with the filters a little bit. Characteristics. Oh yeah. Okay. So year built. I always, and this goes into organization too, guys. I always have the purchase date, whatever the year is on that, the same exact as a year built. It just helps with organization. Just helps with organization. Okay. All right. And this isn't just for now. This is for the future. I'm going to do something with the lot size, but I'm not going to mess with that now. Purchase price. So I'm going to do less than or equal to 100K for my absentee list. As long as they're not in affluent areas like in California or Boston, Massachusetts, or some more affluent areas in NYC, I'm going to usually start at 100K for my absentee list. My owner occupants, I may go a little bit lower. Okay, and then I have some other filters here that overlap. So I like doing a first loan amount of 100K. This just lets me know that it's just doubly and actually triply, if that's such a word, lets me know that this purchase price filter is the same as the first loan amount. Okay, so 100K or less, and then total outstanding loans less than or equal to $100,000 or less. Okay, so I like having that because it's like having 3 hard ceilings. Again, somebody could have bought their home for 100K, but they could have refinanced it and they go, oh, 300K on it. So I don't want those people. Guys, ask me if you guys been doing this for a while, or tell me if you know of anybody that sold their home for less, okay, let me phrase this properly. If somebody bought their home for 300K and they owe probably like 100K now, or if somebody owes like 200K for the house, and you're not going to be able to buy that house for 100K, right? If it was worth 100K and then they refinanced it. Again, somebody's not going to sell their house for lower than what the total outstanding loans are, right? And I would dare say that you're not going to be able to buy a house from somebody. And when I know I buy most of my houses for around this price, there's just something about when you get to that 150, 200, and 300K price range. For me personally, I apologize if I'm not that coherent here, guys, explaining this. But for me personally, in the markets that I'm in, most of the people I'm buying houses from around 65 to 100K, right? That's going to be your sweet spot there. Again, you may be in an affluent market. Like in one market, I pull list for a guy and he's in California, and I go all the way up to 500K with these filters because his median sale price is around 500,000. But again, most of the markets I'm right at 100K. And again, I don't have equity filters on my list or loan to value filters on my list. So this allows me to have some sort of motivating criteria. Does that make sense? Absentee isn't a good enough motivated criteria. I've learned that purchase price is really an X factor. So the less somebody spent in their home, here's price, here's motivation, the more motivated they're going to be. Not always the case, but the more motivated or cooperative, I would say, more cooperative they will be. Somebody bought their home for 2, 3, 4, 500,000. I don't care if the market's worth, $1 million. That person is going to be less cooperative because they're going to have more options. They're going to be more savvy. So again, guys, think about just logically. If somebody bought their house for 50,000, and most likely it's not going to be worth, unless you're in the area that I grew up in, Charleston, South Carolina, those areas are few and far between where somebody may have bought their house for 50,000 20 years ago, and now it's worth $1 million, and they haven't done anything to it. Few and far between, and that's only in like a handful of places in Charleston, like downtown and maybe North Charleston in some areas. But for the most part, that house might be worth 200, 300,000 now. Okay, they might be looking for 125, 150, and they might be happy with that. But if they bought that house for 300,000 and now it's worth 500,000, that person's going to be looking for freaking 400 or 500,000. They're not going to accept less for what they bought that house for. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. They're not going to accept significantly less than what they bought that house for as you go up in these price ranges, unless they have some emotional distress. Again, but that's not going to be the ideal avatar, right? You're going to get lucky based off your marketing. It's a numbers game. So if you're going after a list to pull and a target demographic to pull, guys, I would really target people that bought their homes for less. So they're going to have less options. They're not going to say, well, let me take this contract to a realtor. They're still going to mess around with you. Absolutely. But we're going to be getting closer to the actual demographic that wants to play ball. Every person isn't going to say, well, let me talk to my realtor. Let me see your contract and take this to my attorney and all this crazy stuff. Guys, we're still fishing. We're still going to have to go through unmotivated sellers, but this is just going to allow us to get fewer leads to a contract instead of like having 200 leads to a contract with cold calling. We may be at maybe like 50 to 60. That's reasonable. That allows our cost per lead and marketing costs to stay a lot smaller up until you may say, well, I just want to target everybody, and that's fine. But if you're just starting off or you're trying to get some consistency in your business, you got to work smarter, not harder. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Let me see if I have any questions over here. Okay. So what do you use to pull buyers? So I use this same tool to pull buyers. Yes. So I use Investor Trial Toolbox, and I have another tool that I use to pull buyers. It's the one that I'll be using for your list. Just another tool I use to pull buyers. Actually, yeah, I don't usually use them and I don't use Toolbox to pull buyers. But it's not an investor list. I pull the list separately. Like I pull them from scratch as well. I could do them in Investor Trial Toolbox, but it's just an easier way to filter my list. Okay, so Paolo, had a great call with you earlier, my friend, this week on Monday. Thank you for your time as well. It was great connecting with you. You're down here in Florida, so I hope that you're probably seeing this rain too right now, man. I'm surprised your internet's up. So is there a way to filter by owner's age? Okay, so no. So that's one downside, my friend, of a lot of these list pulling tools. You can't filter by owner age, okay? But again, we can get close by filtering by purchase date. So in my mind, theoretically, and I'm just following the logic train here, if I'm pulling, if somebody bought the house in 1999, if they bought it in, if they bought it in 1999, I can assume what's the average age of somebody buying their house. If they were 20 years old, 25, they would be 50. They're getting up there. They're 45, but I doubt that. Most people, they probably would be around 35 years old. So they're at 60, man. They're at 60. So you just need to look at the purchase date and then do it like that. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't people that bought the homes in 2010 or 2015. They aren't, and there aren't older. But again, the length of ownership also is another filter. So I would say the two motivating filters and priority of my list are going to be purchase price. That's the number one motivating filter I put on my list. Lower the purchase price, the more motivated our cooperative seller is going to be. Then tier two, I would probably say would be the purchase date. So the further we go back, the more motivated they are going to be. So if they bought their house in 1985, and you're talking about a 35-year-old in 1985, you're looking at 25. That's going to be 30 years. So you're looking at 65. If they bought that house in 1985 and they were 40, guys, they're going to be, 40 plus 30 years. I'm sorry. They're going to be 70 years old. So even if somebody's 65 and they bought the house in freaking 2010 or 2012 or 2013 or 2014, what's the motivation there? They just bought the house. So it's a conjunction. It's multiple factors, guys. This is why if you don't take away anything from this live stream that I'm discussing right now and doing right now, guys, there's not just one factor. If there is going to be one or a few factors, there's going to be a priority of them, and it's going to be a handful of them. And that's what I've done just over the years. I've determined basically what the 80-20 of list pulling, of cold calling, of marketing, of text message marketing. I've narrowed all the unnecessary components down to actually just what works and presenting that to you guys. So when I say these things, guys, this is 3 million, and I'll show you here in a second, 3 million plus. I know just in this tool that I pulled. This zip code analysis sheet, guys, I used to do this manually. I used to update, there used to be about 40 filters on here. 30 that I would get from Redfin. I used to update these manually, right? I used to go to Redfin, and then I used to be like, I used to update this manually because I was trying to find what insights popped out to me. And then eventually over time, I said, okay, I found myself only referencing home sold, days on market, and median sale price. So when I say this to you guys, it seems like maybe simple, but I want you guys to know that, hey, this is a process I developed myself, okay? And it's just what works. Nobody taught me this. You know, I'm an analyst, by trade. That's what I love doing. I love numbers. I love data. I love logical analysis. And I love doing stuff that works. And even if this works, I'm always looking for that next step. But I think right now, I have it down to where this basically is this is the process that works for me. Okay, so to answer your question is, I almost forgot it there. Is there a way to filter by owner age? Did that answer your question, Paolo? There isn't a list that I found. You could go on list source, but again, what's the accuracy of that? And again, you might be filtering your list, but down so much by all these filters that you're going to have a motivated list, but you're going to have about 500 people on it. Guys, that's one day of texting. So we have a balance here with motivation and volume. Again, I'm not just saying just target every absentee owner or every owner-occupied person who bought a house, in 2023 and prior. I'm not saying that. That's too far on the spectrum. I'm also not saying to target a tax delinquent stack code violations list with people that just got checked into the nursing home and they're 80 years old and then they just, lost their cat in a house fire. And you have, that's a super motivated list, but that's like 6 people. How much marketing are you going to get with that? We also need to understand that with each marketing channel, we need enough leads to be able to convert a contract. Okay? We need enough leads to convert a contract. Okay? And that's the balancing act that I found. I found just that enough sweet spot where I can market and spend just as much money as I need to get 2 to 3 to potentially 5 contracts a month. Right? I don't want to be over that, guys. I know I have just enough. I want to spend just enough to be able to get that many leads to convert. And these are answers I was not able to get, guys. I was literally asking around back in 2018, 19. I was desperately looking for a mastermind to join to get answers to these questions. I would ask some of these people because they would give me trials, for a limited amount. I could join the masterminds and go to the events and stuff. I would say, hey, start asking around. Well, how much do I need to spend on like cold calling, or what's the going rate for direct mail? How much do I usually need to spend to like get a deal with direct mail? And their answer, even the people that ran it, and they will put you in these hot seats and make you feel like you're stupid when they don't freaking have the answer. Say, well, you just need to spend more money on direct mail. You suck. You don't want to spend money, and make you feel like an idiot. It's like, no, you guys don't know the answers. So I just went off and learned this stuff on my own. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, close to probably $1 million, client spend, and then my own spend, and then other companies I've been part of, guys, figuring these questions out. Like, seriously, nobody, that's just where I'm at with it, guys. Okay, so yes, thanks, man. Makes sense. Yeah, you're feeling the rain and wind here. Dude, the wind is cutting right now, man. This condo I'm in is swaying, dude. View's beautiful. I don't know if you guys see, view's beautiful, but it's swaying out here, guys. Okay, glad I answered your question. All right, guys, we're going to go on probably for a little bit longer. Guys, drop your questions. I'll take some time just to do Q&A, but I'll just go ahead and show you some of these lists that I want to actually see the counts I have for this list first. So another filter, guys, and that ad that I really love, and I added this filter probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. This was probably the most recent filter I added, and that's lot square footage. So you may ask, well, CC, why do you add that? Okay, well, let's do this. Average square footage of a house. Of a lot. House lot. Okay. So just going to use Google right here. So 8,327 square feet. Oh, this is California. Standard lot for a house. Okay, so about the same. So 8,177 square feet. So I'm going to do square feet to lot. Calculator. I should be able to do it here on Google. Huh, that's interesting. Oh, let me see. Square feet to acre. I'm sorry, square feet to acre calculator. So I'm going to put this in here. So that's 0.18 acres. So here's another thing, guys. Some of you guys may be targeting homes out there in the middle of nowhere in your marketing. You may get lots that also have mobile homes on them that are classified as single family residences, but they're actually mobile homes. I know that's frustrating. Guys, if you have difficulty generating comps, you need to add this filter onto your list. Third instance of the night, third time's a charm. You guys need to add this filter onto your list, okay? And the filter that we're adding here, guys, is going to be a lot square footage. This will allow you to only get homes that are in neighborhoods. So you're not even going to be targeting people that are out in the middle of nowhere, Route 66, unless you're targeting that specifically. But I know most people, 99% of people, and everybody watching this call and the replay are going to say, you know what? I don't want to target rural properties, because that distracts the whole team. You're going to try to make that work. You have a motivated seller that's an hour away from you, and they have this home that has no comps around it. Guys, you're going to try to make that work because you might be desperate to make a deal happen. And guess what? You're going to spend a ton of work, a ton of effort on it, and then you're going to make $2,000 on a deal or $5,000. Like, let's not even have that deal, that lead, populate into our system. So I don't do this. I don't just keep it at 8,000. But most likely, guys, you're not going to have anything that's over a half an acre. So I like doing a half acre, so 0.50. So if you want to, guys, if you're in an area that may have smaller lots, you can do 10,890, but that may limit your list down a little bit too small. So I like doing 0.50. So 21,780 square feet. If anything's over that, it's going to be a McMansion or in a rural area or a gated community on a lake, something like that, okay? We don't even target those people. So I do less than or equal to 21,780 square feet, okay? Let's, building size, guys. I think if you start doing building size and beds and bath, you're just going to be a little bit too, you're turning it on to a niche list. You're going to be eliminating a lot of properties you could target. Again, there's a balance here between going too limited and also having motivation. So if I'm going to add a filter on my list, and this is an important point, it's going to be a filter that's going to trigger motivation. Beds and baths, that's just going to narrow my list down arbitrarily. It's not going to trigger any motivation. This filter right here helps with my comps. So I'm not targeting anything that's like out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And so when the lead comes in, again, I'm thinking about this in the system, it's going to be easier for my team to do these comps themselves. If I have to sit here and I have 5 deals that come across my desk and they're unique deals, they're unique leads and unique properties that are on 3 acres, and I'm not targeting land like that, I may just go through the motion and say, well, let me comp it because I have to get an offer out. We didn't have that many leads, and these are the only motivated sellers. I may spend 2 hours each, 6 hours out of my day freaking comping land in the middle of nowhere, just so because my VAs can't comp it out. Well, CC Boss, can you comp this out? No. The way that I operate now is my team, they know how to comp out like 90% of what comes through. And really the only time that I get the final comp is when we're about to send a contract out. I really don't even do that. It's really just verifying my team's work, because The way that I comp the deals out is the way that they will comp it out. Again, this is to create a system, an assembly line. So there's very few unique parts of the business that I have to get involved in. We have a comment over here, guys, on Facebook. Oh, my God, Graham. Let's see if, oh man, Graham's comment didn't post it. I don't know why the Facebook didn't, but I'm just going to share it. Graham's a great guy, my Australian brother right there. So for me, you're the best data analytics guy in the business, CC straight up. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to put a heart on that. Thank you. So glad you're watching, my friend. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this sucker up here. So Cumberland, North Carolina, every zip in Cumberland, non-owner occupied, so we're absentee, individual owner, year built 1999 and prior, purchase date 1999 and prior, purchase price $100,000 or less, first loan amount $100K or less, single family, dupes, tries, and quads, 21,780 square feet or less, and that's going to be your a half an acre or less, and the total outstanding loans underneath 100K. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. Custom filters. Yeah. Now, I would say this too, guys. If you're in a really distressed market, you might want to put your AVM, which is basically just updated assessed value. This is more updated than the actual assessed value. It's called an advanced valuation metric. Advanced valuation model, I think. Advanced valuation model. It's basically just an updated assessed value. So it uses algorithms and stuff. So it's real time. Your other assessed value is updated when you buy the home or the home sells, or every 7 years. You don't want to use that. So what you can do is also put like a AVM. Again, if you're like in a very impoverished area, maybe like 25,000 or less, because anything underneath that might be like lot value. And so that'll eliminate a lot of like the war zone hood type properties there, okay? But I'm not going to add that here. And I'm going to get my count and see what's up. Again, this might be pretty low. And if it is, I'm going to show you guys just some other things I could do. Oh, well, that's actually not too bad. It's not bad at all. Now this will this is how many records I need for Eddie's list. Shout out to you, Eddie. But again, this doesn't bode well for, let's just say Eddie closes some deals up and he wants another list. Well, I'd like to get more absentee records, but the next list I pull for him, I can always do owner occupied. Now, this will probably be my first list that I pull in any market. This is most likely what I would start with. If I can't get a deal or any motivated leads out of this list, and from day one with texting, then that tells me I shouldn't be in the market. This is going to be my most, if you want to call it niche list, my most niche list. Or if I'm coming up with like 2,000 homeowners with this many zips, then that tells me that it's too small of a market. Or there's all the inventory, absentee blue collar inventory has been bought up. But about 5,000 sellers, this is good. It's not great, but it's good. It's good. I've been in some markets where I've had twice as many zips, and I've only had maybe like 3,000 to 4,000 sellers. That tells me that inventory has been eaten up, even when I increase the first loan amount to 150K. So the purchase price, loan amount, total outstanding loans. Now, there are areas you can go up a little bit higher. So you may say, hey, Cece, well, what if I need 10,000 records? What would you do then? And if you want to stick with absentee homeowners, okay, well, this is what I would do, guys. I'll give a little bit in some of these areas. The first thing I would probably change is the year built and the purchase date. You probably could go up to maybe like 2010. That's probably if you could go up to 2002, but that might not change much. If I needed to get to like 10,000 records, I was at 8,000, I'd probably do 2002. But if I need to jump to 10,000 records, you do 2010, guys. That's not bad. 2010, whenever I started, was only 5 years prior. Now, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's 14 years. from when I first started in 2020, 2015. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad place to start. Even with the year built of 2010, there's some homes that built in 2010. If they don't have an HOA, they probably look really bad now. Especially if they have cheap vinyl siding. They have like all that grout buildup on the side. You haven't pressure washed the house. We call them Syntex homes. There was this cheap manufacturer of homes called Syntex. They barely passed inspection. They were charging like $300K for those homes. Crazy. But Syntex homes, low quality. Those would be the ones they would put in non-HOA neighborhoods, and they probably look pretty bad now. The ones built in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, ready to be flipped. Okay, so one thing you can do, just depending on the median sale prices, guys, you could go up to maybe like 120, 150, but really underneath 300K, I'm not gonna go that far, because again, the reason why I have this criteria here is for motivation. And again, if the median sale price is like 289, yeah, if the total outstanding loans are around 150, I probably would need to offer that person a little bit lower, unless I'm going after novations and the house is in a decent condition. But we're talking about cash properties right now. There's going to be some novations that slip through, but for the most part, these are going to be cash. Okay, so I could go up to 150, but for this list, I'm not going to. And I would get the count here. So I changed the year built and the purchase date. Okay, so that took me up to 7,057. So I still feel good about this list. Now, if I went up to 200,000, guys, I would just be pulling data. I would get more data, but I would just be increasing the filters just to get 10,000 records. And that's not something I want you guys to do, because this is changing the demographic. And so this may change your lead to contract rate, or it may be deceiving where you have 2,000 records mixed in that aren't really motivated, and then you have others that are, and you may be others that are more motivated, meaning have these 100K or less purchase price, and then you may think that you pulled a bang up list, but really 70% of the list was running majority of the load. So you may say, oh, I could go up to 200,000, but really those records might as well be throwaway records. Guys, we're talking about some advanced stuff here, guys. Talking about over 3 million plus records pulled in this account. And I've had 2 other accounts where I've had probably 1 million records that I pulled. So I would keep it like that. Now, let's just say, Eddie locks up 2 to 3 contracts with this, which he's going to. Okay. After that, Eddie may say, maybe not next month, but the month after, CC, great, I locked up 2 to 3 contracts. Hey man, 1 fell through, but I closed 2, I made 40K. Boom, let's do it again. All right, I'm gonna be like, cool, let's run it back. So I have a couple options. I can either keep this same criteria and then target these other zips here, or what I might do is just go and I might keep these same zips, and I might simply go and just change the filter to owner occupied, yes. However, I'll change these purchase prices to like 50K, because owner occupies are going to be less motivated. Now, okay, I could do 1 or 2 things. I could either keep this at 100K, and I won't change all these filters. I will just change 1. This just helps me with my organization. And also, too, you don't want to narrow your list down too much. And then I might go back to 1999 with this. I might do like 1985, okay? And then I might do purchase date to purchase. I might do purchase date 1985 and year built 1985, okay? Boom. And then see what I get there. And that's not bad, guys. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a pretty good list. This is basically an absentee senior list. Guys, if the total outstanding loans are 100,000 and the purchase price was 100,000, yes, they could have refinanced, but guess what, guys? We have this total outstanding loan filter here to let us know that they probably haven't refinanced. You know, if they have, it was a while ago to do repairs on the house. And this just lets me know that they don't owe more than what the house is worth, more than what they paid for. So they're not going to, the purchase price may have been 100K, but you know, they may owe like 200K because they refinanced. We don't even want to see those people, guys. I don't even want to see those people because that's going to negate my motivation on these, the quantitative filters for the purchase price, total outstanding loans, and first loan amount. That's going to negate having these filters here. But if the total outstanding loans are 100K, guys, I know more than likely these people haven't gone out of their pocket, or excuse me, they haven't done repairs by taking out a HELOC on their home. Okay. So even if they did repairs to the home, they came out of pocket with cash, their own cash, or maybe pulled equity on another home possibly, or they may have taken out a HELOC but a long time ago. And so now it's time for repairs. And so it's not completely updated. Okay. So yeah, 9,000. So let's just say I want to get a little bit more targeted. I may say, you know what? I just need 5,000 records. Guys, I may go down to 50,000. In some markets, this won't make sense. You may need to go down to 100,000 or, 80,000, or 100,000 may just be your max, okay? That you go down to. Like if my median sale prices were like in, let's see, there's a particular market and see, I don't target, I don't analyze, well, Richmond, right? So, well, yeah, if my median sale price were like 344, it may not make sense to go down to 50K, right? You know, I may only be able to go down to 80. Okay, cool. Yeah, so sweet. Okay, cool. So let's go back to Fayetteville. All right, so owner occupied, yes, 50, 50, 50. And so let's see what we have. It might drop it down a lot, but we always adjust. All right, so guys, that's exactly where I need. So when I pull this list for Eddie, I have a couple options here because he only bought a 5,000 record list from us. So I don't have to get 10,000 records. So I can honestly say, you know what? I'm going to look at the data here after this call and I'm going to decide. I have a decision to make. Should I do absentee with 1999 year built and purchase date and $100,000 in purchase price and those other filters? Or should I do owner occupied 1985 year built and purchase date with a purchase price of 50K? And guys, I'm going to be honest too. So people that say, oh, I don't target owner occupies, guys, you're missing some gold by not targeting owner occupied. Because I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of people on this list. I can't say percentage wise, but there's a lot of people on this list that don't even live in the home. That's absentee. They need to go update their records with the county. Their county doesn't reach out to them and say, oh, well, you know, are you living in this home? No. As long as the house isn't vacant, they wouldn't know if you're living in it or not unless you tell them. They could have a relative in there. They could be in a nursing home. They could be between like another relative's house, right? So they could either have a relative in there in themselves. They could be living in a relative's house because they're older and they're downsizing, or they could be transitioning in a nursing home or not even live in the house at all. And we've found a lot of people that have been overlooked because investors just want to target absentee. Guys, again, if everybody's going left, I'm going right. The best list is the one that nobody's targeting. I'll say it again. The best list is the one that nobody is targeting. I don't care. That's the best list that's performing. You know, a lot of people, if you hear it popular out here, if you hear people are targeting, you know, a certain list, you have to ask, okay, what are they selling? Or who's benefiting from telling me this to target, you know, a tax delinquent absentee list, you know, or to target a tire landlord list. and then they have their prop stream affiliate link at the end of the video. Only thing I have to sell are my services. I don't have any affiliates. So anyway, guys, I hope that makes sense. I hope that drives a couple points home here. I hope this really helps, guys. If you guys have any questions on this video or on Facebook, guys, just let me know. You can comment on this video. If you want to work with us, guys, you can go ahead and hit that link in the top left. It'll take you to a form here, and I will take calls. I take them personally now. I may not do this going forward, but if you do fill out that form, you will be able to talk to me. Again, if you don't sign up for anything we have, most of the calls are an hour long, and I just really try to understand what your really, guys, where you're at, and how if I can't help you to put you in a better place than where I left you. And you guys, Paola on that, help you out, Paola. Paola didn't sign up for anything, but I left them off better than where I found them. So you guys could click that link there. You guys have any questions at all, anything. It could be on anything I covered, list pulling, skip tracing, my data sources. I hope I didn't lose you guys there, but again, this isn't what I do here, guys, is not like it's not so black and white. If it was that easy, guys, everybody would be doing it. And I consider myself a professional at my craft, and I hope you guys do too. You may not need to be a professional at list pulling like I am, but you need to be able to get access to somebody like myself who's able to do it, or partner with somebody, or hire somebody on your team, right? So I love building teams, guys. That's something I do for a lot of my clients. So if you guys want to acquisitions people, cold callers, text messaging people, we build teams out. I work with most of my clients for 4 months. So I have a few availabilities now. And guys, we go to work. Like, you guys should see my freaking calendar. We meet every day with some of my clients to just get their teams up off the ground. So it's called Build to Scale for a reason. Guys, if you have any questions, again, just hit me up here on YouTube or on Facebook, and I will answer them. Okay, guys. Hope I left you guys better than where I found you. And you guys stay safe. Paola in Florida. Anybody else in the eye of the storm, stay safe. And I will see you guys next